Good morning. Well, I'm going to leave Mike in his little campsite in the shed, or the cabin. It's really nice actually. Really nice little homey thing, and there's all these little signs around the place. Like in my room, there was women don't have hot flushes, they have power surges and, you know, things like that. Seemed like it was in gear. It was in gear. Right. So yeah, lovely little campsite, little cabin, $10 a night. The guy's a legend. Really nice and friendly, quite funny. Yeah, so Bushy Park Campground is where it's at. So tonight I'm staying with Louis at his parents' house and him in Hobart. So that'll be nice. And fuel. That'll be alright. There's 115 k's to the next place. Hang on, 115 there and back. Maybe I should get fuel. Ooh. Might go get fuel because it's probably the safe option. I'd rather have too much than not enough. All fueled up, $8. $8, and that's expensive fuel here because it's $1.51 a litre, which is quite expensive compared to what was it, Hobart. So at least another 5 cents more expensive. But $8 or 5 litres for 100 kilometres, and that's pretty good, I think. Can't argue with this bike's economical, and I don't economy, and I can't. I don't ride necessarily economically. Right, off to the top of this little road. It's 115 k's each way, and it's got a load of rivers and a viewpoint at the end of it. So we'll pop up here, have a look, have a little walk around, and then pop back down again, and then into Hobart. This is a lovely road. It's all like nice and twisty. The shame it's a bit wet and damp and mossy. So basically the grip levels are appalling. But I was just thinking like how good this would be in the summer. Like it's just yet another amazing twisty road. Like this place, Tasmania, would be absolutely incredible on a bike in the summer. Like I think if I ever get the chance to come back, I'll definitely come back in the summer to ride around. Like every single road is awesome. Like I haven't found a bad one yet. Road conditions are pretty crap right now. I don't know also whether I'm in rain or whether I'm just up in the clouds and this is all, I'm catching the water from the cloud. I don't know. I passed a sign saying I was pretty high up. I was like 650 metres. I guess above sea level. There was 190 centimetres a year of rain. Oh, how can you be low battery? I only charged you this morning. Last night even. Anyway, well, sounds like my camera's going to die again. Seems to last about 10 minutes. So, I'll turn it off, put it on charge, so I've got some battery when I actually arrive at the top. I've made it to the top, or top of the road anyway. There's a dam behind me that you can see. It's still really cold, and that glass is steamed up. It's wet, and so annoyingly you can't see as much as I'd like. It's all covered in like cloud. But I did spot a coffee shop on the way up here, which is only like a 6 or 7 k's back from where I came. So I shall get some hot chocolate, hopefully, from there. This lens is really annoying me, as you can see. So yeah, the road's really cool. The scenery would be amazing if it wasn't for the cloud, and the weather is just pants. It's really cold and really wet. I do like this on my bike though, because it's air cooled. You've got a fan that spits out just here. So when I got here, I left the bike running and revved it just a little bit, just to hold the revs up and get the fan to kick in. Then you've got an amazing hand heater, so my hands are nice and warm now. So yeah, I think what I've did is I just rode all the way up here, so as I go back down again, I'm going to slowly pop into all the little sort of viewpoints and nooks and crannies that I can see, and see whether I can get some views. Some of the views when you were a little bit lower were amazing. Like you got some nice lakes covered with, and then surrounded by hills. It's all covered in forest. So that was really cool. Anyway, let's have a little look around. Hello, so this is another dam that's here. It's the smaller one of the two, so it's not the Gordon one. It's, I don't know, I can't be doing this stuff. But there's a cool cave here. Have a little wander in. Oh. Well, that's it then. Right. Oh well, pretty cool. And then that's the control sort of block where they can control the amount of water that flows through. It's all like all the rivers here, all the sections here are all to do with power. So it's all hydropower. So, but it's pretty nice, pretty cool. Really nice hot chocolate with a nice little view as well, and there's actually full signal here as well, so it's nice. So I could sit and flick through the world of Facebook and see what's going on. Absolutely nothing apart from memes and silly jokes, and a few posts from the adventure riders groups in New Zealand, Australia and the UK, which I always find interesting to read around and see what's going on, what people are doing and their issues. Always a good debate on tyres. I just sit. I don't bother reading the tyre ones anymore because everyone's just arguing with each other, but it's kind of funny. Nice slow amble ride back down. You can see some of the views that I had on the way up were pretty good. There's one section I really want to see if I can record and stop and take a photo. I just came around this corner and then was just hit with this like wall of rock from the side of this mountain, which is really cool. So hopefully I'll get that on my return. There's nothing like a break and a hot chocolate to sort of get you back, you know, warm you up a little bit of time in some warm. Also doesn't take long to get cold again apparently, but my spirits are raised. That's what matters. I also found out, so the dam that we went to, that dam is the biggest dam in Australia, and it's 140 metres high, 192 metres across, and it holds over 15,000 gigalitres of water, which is about the same size as Sydney, apparently. Another sign that said the same measurements, but said 14,450 million cubic metres of water. So, a fair bit. But it's quite interesting that that's the biggest one in Australia. And it's all part of the bigger, or there's actually quite a few dams, but it looks of it in the whole area with all these lakes. It's about 4 dams, but that's obviously the biggest. And it's all part of the hydropower system that they're running up here, so it's kind of cool that it's the biggest one. I like it when there's something interesting or different about something, like it's not just a dam, it's the biggest dam. Like it kind of makes it better to go to. It's kind of what I was saying the other day about seeing things. You see something and then you kind of have to, if you're going to see it again, or you're going to see the same thing again, it has to trump the one you've seen before. So if you've gone to see lots of waterfalls, you then need to see a socking great big waterfall. I was chatting to some Canadians that I met in New Zealand, and they said I think they've Niagara Falls, they've seen those or some other falls in Africa, and they were like, once you've seen those falls, there's no point in going to see any other falls, because nothing is going to be as impressive or as amazing as that. It's all going to be kind of like a downer. So almost the more well-travelled you are, sort of the less things start to impress you or impact you, unless it's particularly special location or it's got some meaning or something, or it's different in a particular way. Otherwise it's just like, oh yeah. And it's interesting to see that there's things, different tourist attractions obviously interest different people. Like for me, I'm far more interested in scenery and sort of the nature sort of side than going to see an attraction, for instance, somewhere that's been made up, unless it's something that's particularly cool. Like the wall yesterday was amazing, and it's well worth a visit. The dam is kind of cool, but was been more interested and been more drawn to all these hills and all these mountains around me. It's like I've seen a fair bit of Australia on a previous trip, and I've seen lots of wildlife and stuff, and I'm still really interested, and I really enjoyed it in the outback. This is a cross between Australia and New Zealand, so these hills, like here we go, this is this big rock thing I was telling you about. It's just big open space. All these hills, this reminds me of the west coast of New Zealand a little bit, but the trees are all different, and then you've got this button grass all around, which obviously, so it's kind of blanketed in a completely different texture. The birds over here always catch my eye because they're always parrots or something, and not pigeons. The trees are completely different, the grass is different, and then you have to be careful of snakes and stuff when I travel. I don't know much about Tasmania, and I don't know much about this time of season, but certainly will be watching for them when I travel across the outback, and the spiders. Try not to think about spiders when I'm in that little cabin last night, because I thought to myself, like, it's cold, it's warm in there, there could be a huntsman in there, but then as soon as I went through my head of that, I thought, better not think of that, otherwise I will not sleep. Sometimes, although this weather's pretty crap for me riding, it kind of makes it quite cool to have these sort of different greys in the hills where they come in. You've got the 3 hills over there. This one's completely green, and the next one's a bit grey, and the next one's just like a faint shadow in the mist. It kind of creates an interesting view. I've just seen a sign for Russell Falls, which is actually the one set of waterfalls I did want to see. So I just quickly dived into Mount Field National Park, which is on my list. I just missed it. Well, I didn't miss it because I'm here, but I didn't realise it was here. And then I just saw a sign. I was like, oh, quick, left. So let's have a look. So it's a nice 25-minute walk along a sealed path. So to the falls, through all this wooded area. So I'm going to go and see them, and then there's a track. There's like a gravel sort of windy track that rides into the national park a bit more. Where there's another little walk, so I might go and do that as well. Spend some time if it's not too cold. Well, it's actually nice and warm when you're walking, so it's a good way to warm up and see some things. Lady inside the information centre asked whether they'd like me to keep my helmet behind the desk, and so I gave them that in my tank bag, so that's sweet. It's all secure and safe. Anyway, keep on plodding along. Falls are really nice. Nice little wooded area and scenery. I like the sort of woods like this. It's got all like the moss growing over and trees that have fallen down and stuff. It's really cool. Haven't really seen much wildlife or animals, but it's quite a well populated little area really, so I'm surprised. I'm not that surprised. Anyway, yeah, first time I've been really warm, so it's kind of nice. Now getting a bit too warm, but at least when I start riding on the bike again, it'll take me a little while to cool off, which will be good. So yeah, I'm just walking a different route back and enjoying the peace and quiet. I'm now doing a walk, or Pandandi Grove walk. It's in the Mount Field National Park, so the same park as the Russell Falls. But yeah, it's a 40-minute walk, so it's about as long as I'd want to do in these boots really. Also, I'm quite hungry. I haven't had lunch and it's like 2 o'clock, so I think what I'm going to do is, once I've done this walk, is get some food as soon as I get to Hobart. It's much more rural than the other one. The other one was like paved and very pathed. In fact, it was wheelchair access. This one isn't. It's apparently a grade 2, whatever that means. So yeah, it's all kind of rocky and between bushes, as you just saw. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see a bit of wildlife as I'm doing this. So yeah, bike's parked at the car park, do this 40-minute walk, and then I'll get back, and then it's about a 10-kilometre or 10-12 kilometre muddy track to get here, so I have to go back that down there, and then head off to Hobart. So yeah, it's quite cool just to have a break. I had a bit of a headache as well, so this will be a nice bit of silence to cruise around with, rather than the noise of the motorbike and music and what have you. I'm back at the car park. That was like a 15-minute walk-ish, 15-20-minute walk rather than a half an hour, 40-minute walk, but anyway, it was a nice walk nonetheless, and I'm suitably warmed up again. So, back on the bike, here she is, and cruise back down the dirt road. Right, put my summer gloves on for the dirt, just so I got a bit more feel over the clutch. Oh, bumpy. Let's go. It's not a hard gravel road, but it is a little bit slippery where it's wet in some places. Anyway, my camera's going to die, so I'm just going to let it run, but this is what the road is like. I left the national park and headed for Hobart. I then arrived at Louis's house, where I was shown into my room and had a lovely double bed to stay in, where I rested up, ready for my adventures tomorrow.